Hey guys, welcome to the second lesson. If you remember, in our last lesson we finished the shape of the dinosaur, so we just need to add the fingers, it is, the claws. So, we are going to activate the floor and do very quickly the missing parts. Let's insert a cube and put it over the part we want to do. I'm going to do it very quickly because we already know how to do it. You just need to follow the same steps than before. Okay guys, as you can see, we've already finished the claws. The next step will be putting together the different parts to duplicate the limbs. So, here we have all the parts we've created, right? Now we are going to merge it down and press OK, so that we can merge all of them to create a single limb. Now let's go to Set Plugin, click on Mirror and check Merge into one subtool. And then X-axis. OK. We are going to do the same with the leg. Let's go to Set Plugin, Mirror and OK. As we are working with symmetry on, we'll be able to move and modify these elements without a problem by pressing X. OK, let's open and separate it a little bit. Great. We are going to do the same with the upper limbs. Now we are working with the basic structure, but later we'll be optimizing all these. Well, as you have noticed, the sections are now merged and form a polygroup, so we are going to select Autogroup. OK, polygroups and then Autogroup. Great. Make sure that the body is a polygroup, as well as the lower and the upper limbs. What we are going to do now is merging the three elements. So, go to Meltdown and press OK. Well, now if we click on Dynamic, we'll see what we have so far. Guys, from now on, we'll need the drawing pad to model and sculpt the shape. OK, let's activate the floor. And now we are going to start placing and adjusting all these elements. Now we are going to select Move Topological Brush and we are going to start stretching the model. So guys, it's crucial for you to practice, keep practicing because it's the only way to learn. If we spot a misplaced point, we can modify it, but it should be alright since we placed them before properly. Now we are going to divide the dinosaur. So we click on here to divide it and subdivide it. And now we are going to activate Dynamesh. Press OK. For now we don't need the floor option. Go back to Dynamesh and No. See? If we click No, we'll see that the mesh is bigger now. So, can you see the difference between yes and no? Right? In this case, I'll click on No. For this step, we are going to need the image as a reference to practice since it's the only perspective we have. So let's start modeling. The tools we'll be using are Move Topological, Move Elastic, Standard, Smooth Brush, Trim Dynamic, Snake Hook for the nails, for instance, Clay Build-Up, obviously, Dam Standard, and Pinch. So basically, these are the brushes we are going to use. Well, we are going to start with a structure. Guys, remember that we can update the mesh. How are we going to do it? Okay, we just need to press Ctrl and drag the mouse outside the figure. And in this part over here, this one, okay, we can blow up the resolution, but don't worry because we'll see it later. What we want to do now is work with the shape. Click on Move Topological and reduce this part to delineate the neck. Then, activate Clay Build-Up to modify the mesh and insert the different lines and holes. The Dam Standard option allows us to modify the mouth. The mouth is supposed to be open, like the image you see here, but we'll do it afterwards. We are going to use the brushes to model and improve the surface. For instance, for these lines, we can use Dam Standard. In the case of Move Topological, we are going to use it to adjust the dinosaur's anatomy. Okay, let's select Inflate, which lets us increase in the volume of some parts we think that are too thin, like this one, for example. It is especially useful for the muscles. But be very careful when changing the intensity. This dinosaur isn't scary at all, right? So, in order to open its mouth, we're going to press Ctrl and then choose Lasso to draw only the inferior side of the jaw. Like I'm doing here, see? Okay, we are going to invert the mask by pressing Ctrl and click outside the model. Then we are going to activate Rotate, and once we fix the axis, we are going to open the mouth. I'm going to do it again. Okay. What we are going to do now is update the image. To do so, we're going to move the mouse outside the model and then press Ctrl. As you must have noticed, I'm constantly checking the real image. This is really important because we need to compare it to check that we are doing it correctly. Let's push it inside the mouth, but be careful not to push it too much. Okay, kind of. Don't worry if the shape isn't perfect, it's just a matter of patience. You just need to keep modeling the dinosaur patiently to get a good shape. If these strange things appear, don't worry since we are working with Dynamesh, so you just need to click outside the image to update. Great. Remember that we can use Trim Dynamic to make these areas flat. We are going to do now the claws. If we see they are too thin, we can inflate them and problem solved. We can even deflate the areas by pressing Alt. Notice that Dump Standard allows us to do these lines over here. As I told you, we are working now with the shape, so we don't need to worry too much for these details right now, because we'll be learning how to work with these lines afterwards. We are going to set the ear right here, more or less, in this area. Guys, masks are a really cool tool. Why? Basically, because they allow us to modify a particular area, the area which is marked by the mask. Okay, don't forget to update the mesh. In case you realize that the definition is low, we'll just need to increase the resolution and then select again Dynamesh to update it. So I'm going to increase the resolution, OK, and update. What I'm doing now is creating masks, and now I'm going to sync all this area. It's easier doing it in this way. Guys, the key here is being patient and using images as a reference. So, let's keep working and practicing because it's the only way to have a good result. I'm going to use a snake hook to make the tail bigger and then smooth it. From this perspective, we can see that we need to work with this part of the tail to make it thinner. So, let's reduce it. Okay, where is the stomach? Where are the different parts of the dinosaur? It's just a matter of common sense, but as I told you before, we can use images as a reference so that we can see it clearly. It's very important that we move constantly the camera. We could also change the material to play around with the lighting effects. Sometimes it's really useful to work with the outline, like here. Here, for instance, we could modify the claws like this. Okay, and then here, right. As this part is a bit sharp, we can use the brush to smooth it. Also, thanks to the background image, we can see where the lines and the sunken areas are and create them with DAM standard. This perspective allows us to see where the muscles are. As you can see, it's necessary to inflate this part over here, so we are going to use the Inflate Brush. Well guys, this class has been basically about shaping and modeling our dinosaur. How is your dinosaur going? We're going to leave it here, and in the following lesson, we'll be working with the anatomy and adding some details. Are you ready for the next lesson? See you now!